Welcome back to another video. It is your girl Claire Roddy. Please make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And if you are needing to catch up on the past videos, please feel free to do so. Shout out to y'all watching. I'll be seeing the views. And if you have any bops that you want to throw down below that either are uplifting your spirits or putting you in a safely reflective mood, please feel free to do so. So today we have a fire song. This is Reset by Outkast, featuring Cujo Goody, cee-lo, and Deborah Killings on vocals. And just a disclaimer, I feel like there are some references and historical backgrounds that I may miss in this breakdown. So please feel free to check out the song for yourself and look into the meanings of what's being said that I may not capture in this video. Also, there is a line in one of the verses that I'm not going to read because I'm trying to work through how I'm understanding my reading of the line. So I'm just not going to read it. We'll get right into the lyrics and we will go from there. But this is a really good song. It really is a good song. The tone of everybody, the flow of everybody, the music, it just puts you in a reflective mood. The vocals are so sweet. I really recommend a listen. Nah, nah, nah. That's part of that's yeah, I got you good that time, shawty. The chorus, start over again. Everything happens for a reason. Good doesn't come without pain. Start over again. Everything happens for a reason. Ain't it funny how you're born and then your life begins just like a baby all alone? That's if you wasn't a twin. You must begin to fend for yourself when the umbilical's cut. The doctor put you under the heating lamp. Your spirit is touched. You know what? I take that back. Why? You was alive. Date of conception, interception, 'cause the sperm did collide. From TNA to DNA, feelings turn to children. The morning after pill didn't put a halt to our very existence. We livin', breathin', soon we'll be teethin'. Our granny got a goal and now we want one for that reason. An adolescent mind is so impressionable in those stages. But parents got to parent their kids to keep them out of cages. Self-therapists, beware of this. Loogie that I spit. Incarceration without rehabilitation really don't mean. Little Ricky's home. He gotta serve probation for 6 months. But Uncle Darnell, an old dirty bastard, still in the joint. Reset. So this verse is so good. Okay, so the whole concept of we see a child, right? And we see how life isn't just that child. That child's life just isn't their life now. It's not just their life when they were born and the umbilical cord was cut. It's the cycle of life, that the very concept of the child impacted their life now. And from TNA to DNA, from my understanding, that's from breast to butt to DNA. So almost speaking to maybe the more thought and consideration that can be put into the impact of a child being born and then having to experience living, and then experience living in an individual way and have to go on this self journey. and then turns into like, now we're back at the child, right, who is a sponge and is seeing this like cool thing that their grandmother has. Now it's interesting, right, because the gold tooth could be style, it could be for like medical reasons, but it's sort of, you're seeing it as just like this cool thing that you see somebody that you know and love have, and it could put you in situations trying to obtain that, or trying to obtain the ideal, or not really understanding what the meaning of it is, or what the process could require to obtain that. I truly do believe that it really is a cycle, and that the prison system is not built for rehabilitation. I know that there's a combination of internal motivation and being able to do the work and use the resources, and also understanding that the support and healing power of our community is also very important. This is my, throwing a coin into the wishing well for people to experience rehabilitation in a way that is effective, and not just being placed into a environment, a concentrated environment that is ineffective. The first verse was Big Boy. The second verse is Cujo Goody. Good doesn't come without pain, meaning before it gets better, it's gonna get worse. Like my homies on the sick side still dying over turf that don't belong to us, left in the dust. But Ephesians 6:12 said it wasn't flesh and blood that we wrestle against, principalities, powers of this world, rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places. So throw on the whole armor of righteousness. I sparked this thing, but my name ain't Bubba. I got a problem with racist cab drivers like Glover, and brothers that wax fat and forget all about the struggle. Yeah, come on. Guess what? Time to reset this thing. This verse, right? I think the first verse is birth, and the first verse is almost the potential for life. And this verse feels like now we're out into the world and we're seeing the generational pain that occurs. Just the sad picture, right, of you have people dying over rights to a territory that doesn't even belong to them, that on one hand, right, belongs to the powers that be, right, and then on the other hand doesn't even belong to them. So, and while we're fighting each other, while we're trying to get one up, like we're not even anywhere near. And the frustration and the anger that arises out of that realization that the starting line is so far ahead of one person, and being able to lean on a spiritual understanding that we, the verse, you wrestle against principalities, not flesh and blood. That flesh and blood doesn't account for the bigger happening, right? Like, flesh and blood is almost a distraction from what's actually going on. Rulers of darkness and spiritual wickedness in high places, right? So these are the decision makers. These are the holders of the keys and of the resources that are making the decisions for the rest of us. So throw on the whole armor of righteousness. Now, this is a whole, understanding that I can't even begin to to try to jack up. But if you're seeking to learn how to protect yourself spiritually, in the world, to, find people that you trust, find teachers and leaders and spiritual guides that can give you information about different ways to protect yourself, either through your dress or through your prayer or through your lifestyle, whatever it may be. But I do think, we all have to protect ourselves from things seen and unseen. I want to pose that if anyone, this is the question, if anyone can point me to literature by leaders of color, writers, artists, thinkers, whatever job or field they were in, and how they navigated the work that they did to be a change agent and also navigate flesh and blood, or navigate trying to understand people and be empathetic at the same time. And now, cee-lo. Listen to me, I awaken to sunlight that's beyond bright. This day will be done right. There's a war just waiting on the other side of the door, but I'll be bringing God to the gunfight. Can't live forever, so have some fun, right? Life's a bowl of candy, you can have one, right? You can handle if tomorrow never come, right? You get used to singing, if only for one night. But I intend to raise 2 daughters and a son, right? And I couldn't have wrote this if I was hopeless. And see, I focused to provoke this, so open wide for my opinionated opus. Stop playing go fish, but not below this. Before I go, I thought you all should know this. Recognize and realize before any regretting. Before you relapse, perhaps you'll consider resetting. To me, it starts out, right, like, that talks about hope, that joy comes in the morning, and also understanding that we still have to protect ourselves, right? That at the same time, there is a war occurring, and what is a part of your armor that will help you to protect yourself? So maybe then this question starts to become like, maybe that's the war. These questions that start to come up, like when it starts to get murky, like, can't live forever, so have some fun, right? YOLO, right? So just do whatever you want. It won't matter. You only live one life, right? Let's enjoy her. Life's a bowl of candy. You can have one, right? You have enough discipline. You'll just have one. That's fine. Or you can handle if tomorrow never come, right? So maybe like, oh, you won't regret this, or it won't have that much of an impact, or you won't care anyway. You get used to singing, if only for one night, maybe going against what your daily habit is or what you told yourself you're gonna do, if only just for one night of entertaining something. Stop playing go fish, but not below this. Somebody tell me what that means for them, because I could be thinking about it too hard, or it's just going straight over my head. Before I go, I thought you should know this. Recognize and realize before any regretting. Before you relapse, perhaps you'll consider resetting. Discipline is not fun. It's not. Like, it's a daily decision. It's an hourly, set at the second decision to do the opposite of what you're conditioned to do, what you're used to doing. And what's hard is that you can feel the benefit of not doing it and still deeply crave a old behavior. And I think, this is really like the importance of surrounding yourself with affirmative words, affirmative people, affirmative spaces, because like not just going back to the same things that fuel the habit or fuel the behavior or fuel the mindset. And it's hard, but I know you could do it. You did it before, you could do it again. You could try it one time. You could see how it go. There are people out there to help. right? You are not alone in it. There's a lot of noise happening right now, so I'm gonna stop talking. But thanks for listening, and I will see you tomorrow.